just as I started to bring it down, I felt something tear in my left pectoralis major and minor, perhaps. It seems significant. And I racked it, I got up, and it was one of those kind of pains that made you want to vomit. Do you ever have pain like that where you get lightheaded and it feels like the world is starting to, maybe I just, no? Okay. I hurt myself a lot, so I felt it often. And I sat down, tried not to pass out. It was horrific. And I thought, I think I might have done something, maybe it'll heal up. And I texted a friend of mine who's a physical therapist, and he was like, oh, if you rip a pec, it's bad. So go see a doctor. And he suggested a doctor. I went to the doctor, and he checking me out. He's like, doing a breast exam or whatever. And he was like, yeah, it looks like you ripped it. I was like, what's that mean? He's like, well, the tendon rips away from the bone in the arm. I was like, okay. That sounds really bad. He's like, well, we need an MRI. So I went down there today, and they called, they're like, hey, it's in the building right, this is a long story. In the building right next to the women's hospital. I was like, okay. And I went down there, and I went to the building right next to the women's hospital. I went in, and I had no idea what floor this is on, and it was like 7 in the morning, and this guy walks up, and I was like, do you know, I need to get an MRI. He's like, oh yeah, follow me. I'm the Kerr here, I know everybody. Come up, and you just need to talk to Paula, and just write your name down and wait, she'll come out and take care of you. And sit there, and nobody else is there. And my name down, apparently Paula comes out. She looks at my name, she looks up, and she's like, Can I help you? I'm like, here for an MRI. Like, oh, this is the breast exam place? I was like, well, it is right here. She's like, hold on. It's a long time. So, got the MRI done in the right place and for the right thing. So it was all good. It all worked out. So I decided to share that was interesting. No, I have to have surgery. I have to get my pectoralis major reattached to my arm with a big staple. Isn't that awesome? All right. So anyways, I'll keep you posted how it goes. Tonight's message I entitled this is funny because I entitled it Running Naked, and I'm going to explain. So if you have your Bible or your Bible app, please go to Hebrews chapter 12. And a while ago, and I'm not sure how long ago, I did a message using this verse, and I'm going to drill down on something specific, so don't get nervous. I did not forget that. Okay, chapter 12. You there? Chapter 12, verse 1 through 3. This is one of my favorite passages. I've been sharing this at different churches going around. I wanted to drill down on something specific. It's interesting, and God works these things out. And Tim was talking about finding your purpose, what you're here for, allowing God to work in you and be able to share your faith with other people, whether it's overseas or across the cubicle or across the hall or with your neighbor. And this is what it says. Therefore, since you are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith. For the joy set before him endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who endured such opposition from sinners, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. Love that verse. I love it. We're going to focus in. Let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race. I grew up in the 80s. I ran track in the 80s. Any track runners in here? See, this is what I talked about before, so I'm just kind of giving a synopsis. I talked this maybe a long time ago, but I ran track in the 80s. In the 80s, when we ran track, the outfits that we wore were very small. This is how it was. The shorts were short, and the shirts were tight, and it was very uncomfortable. But that's how it was in the 80s, and we liked it. Okay? Anybody grow up in the 80s? Anybody born in the 80s? All right. But the Greeks, when they competed, they traveled even lighter. They ran naked. That's what they did. And when they competed, that's what they did. In this verse, if you think what the author is saying, he's giving the readers the image of throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles. And he said, run with perseverance. So in that culture, when somebody's thinking about somebody that's competing and running, they're thinking about somebody that's naked. And that's just the way it was. All right? I'm sorry, but that's the Bible. Okay? That's the Bible. So we want to think about the things in life when we are striving to fulfill God's purpose in our life. I want you to look at your neighbor and say, you can be successful. Now, I'm not talking about being a financial genius and having all kinds of money. What I'm saying is that God has a plan and a purpose. And He has you here to fulfill that plan and a purpose. There is a race marked out for you. There is a race that God has you in. He's wanting you to run and run it with perseverance. To keep your eyes fixed on Jesus and run the race that He's given you. You have a purpose here. And He wants you to fulfill that purpose. And He's going to give you what it takes. But there are sometimes things in life that get on us or cling to us that we need to get rid of. We allow them into our life and they slow us down. If you could have the image of maybe running a track race, and instead of the 80s outfit, you could run in a snowmobile suit. Now, it would be very hot and constricting. It's not wrong, but it will slow you down. It will impede your progress. In this race, there are things that slow us down. And I want you to think about right now, God has you here for a purpose. And I'm not even necessarily talking about your career, although that could be part of what God has called you to. Your schooling, your career, relationship. All of that falls under the headship of Christ and His purpose of making Him known in the world. And all of our purposes come under that. Whether we're a chemist, or we're in construction, or we're in retail, God uses us for His purposes. And all of those purposes come under that. And God wants us to succeed in the purpose that He's created us for. He wouldn't have created you for that purpose had He not wanted you to succeed in it. So I want you to ask yourself, what are the things that are slowing me down? What are the things that are hindering me from moving forward? They're slowing me down. Maybe instead of the snowmobile suit, you can imagine yourself running with a bunch of rocks in your arms. It would be difficult. It would be really hard. What rocks do you need to drop in order to run with perseverance? There's a lot of people that I've seen in my life. I've worked with college students for since 1996. So, how long is that? 19 years. And in those 19 years, I've seen a lot of people start out well, running well, come to know Christ, and fired up and passionate about serving God, and seeing them crash and burn. I've seen other people that have just taken off and done amazing things. People that have gone, like you know, all over the world. People from here that are going to serve in other countries. People that are doing amazing things. Kids in my youth group that are now doctors. Like, if I went to their hospital, they would work on me. That scares me a little bit. That's what they're doing. They're smart kids, you know. Nurses and doctors and teachers. People that are shaping the world that we live in now. And it's awesome. One of my neighbors, they used to have us over all the time, and they would have their kids sing for us. And their names were the Westbrooks. Their daughter was on The Voice. Okay? When she was first singing to me, she was 4. And we were over there for dinner, and they would line them up, and then she was on The Voice. I'm like, that's crazy. That is crazy. God fulfilling His purposes is awesome to see. Have you ever met somebody that has amazing, amazing talent, and you've seen it just them wreck their life? There's so much potential, so much promise, and it's devastating to watch. It's when we let these things that hinder us or tangle us, the sin that can sink us, we allow that to get into our life and drag us down. So I want to talk about some things that I think are fairly universal that you might identify with. One, past decisions. So I'm going to ask a series of questions. So if you're a note taker, I see some little pads out or little styluses. Maybe it's just that guy in the front row. But thank you for taking notes, sir. It makes me happy. Are you clinging to your past, or are you cutting it away? Sometimes we've made decisions in the past that we cling to. We know that they were wrong. We have a lot of guilt. We look back on them with a lot of regret. Things that we've done, that we've allowed happen to us. Are we clinging to them? Are we letting those things in the past? I want you to know tonight that your past does not need to define your future. Your past does not need to define your future. What happened to you before does not need to define who you will be. When we're driving in a car, there's a little thing at the top. It's called a rear view mirror. What happens if you drive your car and stare constantly in the rear view mirror? What will happen? You'll tear your pectoralis major. That was this gentleman right here. He'll be here all week. So, you'll wreck. You will wreck. That is why the windshield is so big and the mirror is so small. It's not bad to check the mirror, to see where you've been. There's good and there's bad back there. And we can learn from those things. We need to learn from them. But we can't stare and live in the past. You need to move on. You need to let it go. And I believe that if you are anything like me, there are things that have happened in your past that are weighing you down. That when you think about becoming the person that God wants you to be, that thing, whatever it is, comes to mind. And I could never do that because of this. And I don't know what that is, but we all have them. They're like weights, they're like rocks that hang on us, that weigh us down, and keep us from becoming the person that God wants to be. What are those things in your life that you need to, tonight, cut off? Stop clinging to it, to let it go. Maybe it's a bad relationship. Maybe it's something that happened. Maybe it's somebody that hurts you really bad. Oftentimes there's things that happen to us that are so horrible that we think, I can never forgive that person. And I understand. I get it. I've worked with a lot of people who've been abused and beaten and horrible things. But when we hold on to unforgiveness, it wrecks us. And honestly, what we're trying to do oftentimes without realizing it is punish that person. But it doesn't punish them. It doesn't. You've heard the famous saying that it's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Unforgiveness wrecks us. That person's continuing to rent space in your head, taking up the space that God wants to use. You've got to evict them. I use that term because I just bought some properties. Now I'm a landlord, so it's very relevant. My first person, it was a horrible experience. He's okay. He's got a place to live. So let's move on. I'm obviously not feeling any guilt about that. All right, Andy, take your own advice. Here we go. John 8:34 and 36 through 36. I love this verse. Jesus says, anybody who sins is a slave to sin. But who the Son sets free is free indeed. Jesus wants to set you free. You need to turn whatever that over is to Him. You may not have the strength to forgive this person. But God, and only with Him, can you. And when we let go of those things, we are freed up to begin to live the life that we should be living instead of living in the past. And if it's abuse that you're struggling with, those things are not your fault. Oftentimes we think that they are. for some sick reason, Satan tries to make us believe. But we still need to forgive and evict that person out of our head. Sometimes those things hold on to us. So I thought about, are you clinging to it or are you cutting it away? Philippians 3 says, forgetting what is behind and straining towards what is ahead. And that's another running analogy. If you can think about forgetting what's back there and straining, like you're going for the finish line and leaning into it. Straining for what is ahead. God has amazing things for you. Go for that. So, past decisions can be one of the rocks. Another rock that you need to drop would be your present pain. So, past things, you need to let go. You may be going through a difficult time right now. How do you deal with tough stuff in your life? When you get home from work, or you get home from school, or you were hanging out with a person that you don't particularly like, or whatever it is, I don't know. What are the difficult things you're going through? How do you deal with that in your life on a daily basis? How do you manage your pain? Are you medicating it, or are you meditating on it? Because all of us manage pain differently. There's healthy ways to manage pain and unhealthy ways to manage pain. And I work for the Erie City Mission as a drug and alcohol rehabilitation center. And we know and talk a lot about medicating pain. But drugs and alcohol isn't the only way we medicate pain. A lot of us love to avoid situations. We love to avoid the people that we don't particularly want to talk to. And maybe that's at work, and maybe it's in your house. Maybe it's somebody you live with. Maybe it's a roommate. Maybe it's your spouse. You know, you had a fight and you don't want to talk. I don't know what yours is. How do you manage your pain? Are you medicating it? When you feel insecure, when you feel fear, loneliness, anger, frustration, or you feel hurt, how do you, or what do you do with it? We'll make it rhetorical. What do? Are you the video game player? Are you just going in and like, you know what, I'm going to shoot some people. And you just light them up. Blood spurting everywhere, and you're like, yeah, that didn't work. Hey, Frank, here you are in the corner. You know, like, is that what you do with it? Do you actually medicate it? I mean, are you using drugs or alcohol? Are you going out when things are bad? Is that what you do? Are you avoiding? For a long time, and I've shared this before, but for a long time, I began to use my job as a medication for my pain and insecurity. And what I did was work at a church and work at a facility that helps people. And I began to become addicted to helping. That was my fix. I wasn't helping people necessarily the way they needed to be helped. We call that codependency. We need people to be broken and hurt so we can be the Savior. And that's messed up. But it wasn't until I really did some self-reflection and went through actually celebrate recovery and learned what that was. You know, we find different ways. But Paul tells us in Philippians that be anxious, Philippians 4, to be anxious about nothing, which is really difficult. Be anxious about nothing, but in everything with what? Prayer and petition. With thanksgiving. Prayer and supplication. Depends if you're a King Jameser. It's all good. Pray. Paul says pray. Talk to God. When things get hard, use the difficulty in your life, use the stress, use the pain that you're feeling as a prompting to yourself to then pray. Use whatever that situation is. Use the fight that you have and realize that, man, that prompts me to pray. It's hard to do because we want to do sometimes everything else. But those other things only mask what's happening. They don't fix it. When we go to God and take it to God and we are thankful that God is in our life and that this person is in our life. But not only that, how do you view it? How do you view that pain?
If you view it as an annoyance that's constantly there, that I can't believe I'm always in pain. I can't believe that this keeps happening to me. I can't believe that I can't get past this. I keep struggling with this. Person is annoying. They're always in the cubicle next to me. They won't leave, probably because it's their job. But you feel like you can't get away from some of the things that you struggle with. How are you viewing the pain and the suffering in your life? Listen to what Romans says. This is so annoying. We even glory in our suffering because suffering produces perseverance, and perseverance character, and character hope, and hope does not disappoint us. The struggles and the pain in our life are there to train you. That sucks. You guys, we want to avoid pain. We love avoiding pain. We hate pain. How many people really enjoy pain? Okay, good. Because that would be stupid. But if we could take a different perspective, we live in a broken world. This place is a wreck. It's a mess. We live with messed up people. I'm in a room full of messed up people. It's okay. It's safe. We're all right. It's okay. But you need to know that we live in a world that's not going to work right. And so you're going to get up tomorrow and you're going to face stuff that doesn't work right. Stuff is not going to go the way you want it to go. It's never going to happen. It's always going to be kind of broken. And sometimes, honestly, we are shocked when stuff doesn't go our way. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. You should just expect it. This place is a mess. Doesn't work right, and it won't until Christ sets it back to rights. But we are here to press into the brokenness and to fix it. That's part of the job that we're on. But we shouldn't be surprised when it doesn't work. And God, not only that, God uses the brokenness. He uses the pain. He uses the suffering to train us. If I could use a very relevant analogy about lifting weights, that if you do it correctly, you warm up, and you lift weights, you're providing resistance against your muscles, and they will grow and get stronger. If you do it correctly. Struggles and suffering and pain in our life, if we can view them as God training us, He doesn't send it our way. He doesn't beat you with bad things. We live in a place where they just keep happening. But God is going to use those things. Because Romans 8:28 says, God works for the good. In all things, He works for the good. Those who love Him are called according to His purpose. He's going to use everything. Even the bad decisions you've made in the past. God didn't make you make that bad decision, but He can use it. He can use everything. There is no bad thing. Listen to this. There is no bad thing that has ever happened or that you will ever face that God can't turn around and use for good. There's nothing that's happened in your past that God can't turn around and use for His purposes. And that's so encouraging because when I look back, I've done a lot of wrong things. I've messed up a lot of stuff. But that just gives me a ton of ammunition for God to use for good things. I've got all this stuff that I can use now. All these experiences, all these bad decisions. God, look at what all I gave you to work with. Wasn't that nice of me? What do you do with your pain? Go to God. Past decisions, present pain. Another thing that holds us back is passing blame. I'm sorry that they're rhyming, and I'll start with P. But it's the way it is. Are you accusing or accepting? Are you accusing other people for the things that are going wrong in your life? Or are you accepting the blame for the things that you have done? Are you being brutally honest with yourself about where you've messed up? Today is a reality check. I want you, when you go home tonight, to really do some investigation. Think about the things that are going wrong and what part do you have to play in that. I went to a conference this past week. What time is it? Because I have a feeling that tonight I could just keep talking. I apologize. So okay, sweet. So I was in Philly. I was at this conference in Philly, and it was downtown, and it was called Crucial Conversations. Was the conference, and I was getting trained to train people how to have crucial conversations. Crucial conversation is any conversation, and if you talk to Tim Hall, he'll say these things too. Any conversation that is high stakes, is high emotion, and Tim, what's the third one? Differing opinions. I was just testing. So, anytime you have differing opinions, high stakes, and high emotion, you have a crucial conversation. It's training you how to skillfully handle those conversations. And one of the things that they said is we often tell ourselves 3 different stories. Either a villain story about the other person and how evil they are. A victim story, they're like, oh, what was me? Like this always has, oh, why am I always the one to take the burden? We tell ourselves these victim stories. Or a helpless story, well, it's never going to change. Might as well just give up. And then they ask this question. When you're in the middle of a difficult conversation, you have a difficult conversation, and you need to change your perspective on this other person and yourself, ask yourself this question. What am I pretending not to notice about my role in the problem? Let me say that again. What am I pretending not to notice about my role in the problem? We're so good at avoiding that. That was hard. It was a hard week for me. And I saw a red fox while I was in the middle of Philadelphia. Isn't that weird? I saw a red fox eating a box of popcorn. It was such a strange... I was in Philadelphia. I did Airbnb. You know what Airbnb is? Yeah. So the hotel had a complimentary rate of $279 a night. So I was like, no thank you. And I was like, let me look up an app. Let's see what crazy person is offering a room in their house in the middle of Philadelphia. There's one. This lady from Bulgaria. I was like, oh, okay. Sign up. Very cheap. I went there to stay with her, and it was fine. It was and there I had a room next to a brain surgeon. And he was leaving the next day, so they had a party, and they invited me to go to the happy hour. Okay. So I went, and so it was the Bulgarian lady, the brain surgeon who was from Iran that was living in Toronto, and her friend from Latvia. We went there in a cab with an Indian guy, and we went to an Asian restaurant. I said, this is the most multicultural experience I've had ever in my life. And then I saw a red fox.
What did the fox say?
We're so good at passing the family, friends, people, your dog, somebody did it. Somebody else. It's somebody else's fault. That's why in recovery we do a daily inventory. But that's, I talk about recovery a lot because it's changed my life. But I want to bring those principles into the church. If the church could do a daily inventory, and the daily inventory is looking back at your day, or starting in the morning, looking at the day before, and saying, what went well? What did I do right? You can keep it balanced. What did I do right? What went badly? What did I mess up? What role in the mess up did I play? And do I need to make an amends? Every day. And the people that are most successful in recovery are people that do daily inventory. That they take. Have you ever heard the term? What is it? Experience is the best teacher. Yeah. False. That is false. There are tons of people out there having tons of experiences that never learn a thing. Darn thing. It's evaluated experience. That is the best teacher.